Hello and welcome into another episode of Kicking It with the Wolverines. I am Alyssa Orange. He is head coach Kerry Castillo, and we have reached the postseason, which is crazy to think about. I feel like it was just February that you and I sat down for the first time and started talking about what the season could hold, what it could look like, the players you had coming back and new additions, all the things. And here we are, a couple months later trying to get ready for the postseason. Before we jump to that, though, I want to talk about that last week of the regular season with wins over Fayetteville and Southside. So let's jump into kind of how your team ended the regular season.
Yeah. Well, we actually lost to Fayetteville.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually lost to Fayetteville. Very good game. Just Fayetteville this time of year starts hitting their stride. They just know how to get postseason ready year in and year out. And it's tough to win a game of checkers in Fayetteville. Sure. I mean, they just get up for any kind of competition that's in Fayetteville. And so nothing changed. It was the same. It was just a great game, highly contested game. It was back and forth a lot. We had a lot of chances to score, and soccer is like that sometimes. It doesn't matter how many chances. You got to make good on them, and they made good on theirs, and they beat us. So hats off to them.
Sure. So when you look at it, we've talked about, losses and ties with Bentonville, always a learning experience. What do you think your team took away from it?
It showed us a lot of things that we hadn't honed in on enough. Things that I had been worried might be places where we had gaps, and especially going into the postseason. And so for those things to manifest themselves in a game setting, it really solidified that thought. And I was like, okay, well, now I know exactly where to turn focus to for the next week of training before we get into the playoffs. And so, nobody likes to lose, but you have to take away something, right? You have to take away something. So there was lots there that we could learn. Mm-hmm.
And you also were able to turn the corner. So my apologies, but a big time win over Southside to really just end the season. And not only was it a big win, but it was also senior night for you guys.
Yeah, that's always special. Senior night's always special, and it's always emotional, right? And so you have to manage, those kinds of things and do right by the seniors, but also by the team at the same time, and pay respects to all of those entities. And you want it to end special, right? You want it to end special. And to come off of a loss and have senior night, some people may look at that and go, wow, that is not the game I would want to play after a loss, because, how are you going to respond? But our girls responded phenomenally. Their play was just, we couldn't have asked for better in the manner in which we played. And so we really challenged them with the question of, can you make today about being a great teammate? And that means you give everything you have, all of your energy, to being a great teammate in every way you can. And they just responded so well. It was great. It turned out to be a great night.
Well, you scored 8 goals. I believe that's what you're telling me. So it's not a bad day at the office at all.
That's always good too.
In the regular season, right?
Yeah.
But you look back and do you guys have time, right? It's senior nights, the regular season is coming to a close. You got to quickly turn the page to the postseason. But do you have any time just to reflect on how the regular season went, start to finish?
We talk about that with them a little bit at a time every day, and what we can take away from every week. And we also have tripwires that we call them every single day. Like, hey, this is what has happened over the last few days. This is what we're going to focus on today. And so this week and today, especially after, last week and losing to Fayetteville, winning against Southside, now we're going into the playoffs, and the seniors' last official practice will be tomorrow. And so again, we pose the question, how can you be a great teammate? How can you be a great teammate? And so we really want them to put that into action. And so we do. We make time at the beginning of every practice to reflect on everything that we're experiencing, no matter if it's good, bad, or in between.
Yeah.
And so that was our focus today is to reflect on, look how far we've come.
Yeah.
Here's what we have left. We only have this much time left together. Let's make it great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you kind of, switch gears mentally as a coach to help get them prepared for the one and done mentality that the postseason
Mm.
brings with it?
Yeah, we create scenarios and practice
Yeah.
more in the weeks leading up, and especially this week. 3 minutes to win.
Mhm.
They play 7v7 or some kind of small variation, and one team is winning, one team is not. You have this much time to win, and we give them
Yeah.
specific tactics that they have to carry out and try and pressurize the situation in the same manner that the game where we take penalties every day. And so we're trying to recreate pieces of the game that they'll experience for them every
Yeah.
day in training. But at the same time, we try and add an element of fun because we don't want them to just be pressured. We want them to be able to thrive in the pressure, right? And be able to break the anxiety associated with the pressure. And so there might be a fair bit of what's the term that they use when they're like making fun of each other? What's a great term for that? When they're roasting each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
roast. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And it's especially during penalties.
Yeah.
They go after relentlessly. And so, that breaks some of the anxiety and
Yeah.
adds an element of fun to it because they're having fun and teasing one another. And it's great to have that kind of rapport with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It absolutely is. Well, let's break down the bracket, and I've got it pulled up,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go ahead and reference it right now. For the 6A, in Conway, right? So you guys are going to go down to Hendrix College and play. You're the 3 seed out of the West, and you'll play 6 seed Jonesboro. Looks like Thursday morning at 11 a.m. On your top bracket, you've also got Cabot and Harbor. You've got Rogers and Conway, who have the 2 byes that'll play the winner. So if you guys win, you'll play Conway. Down on the other side, I guess the good news is when you look at this bracket, Bentonville's on the other side of the bracket. Fayetteville and Pulaski Academy, Bryant and Rogers Heritage, and then Mount St. Mary's Academy and then Bentonville down there as well. So when you saw the bracket, and I know you guys kind of had a really good idea of what it was going to potentially look like right before it came out. How do you think this fares for what you guys' strengths are?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We talked to the kids today. They were asking questions about the other teams. I haven't seen them play. I've seen film, but haven't watched them play. But if we just do what we're capable of, then everything should take care of itself. But I like our chances. We've talked about all year long from the very beginning, in July when we got the entire team together and looked at our roster, we said, this is the roster of a team that can win a state championship. And so that nothing has changed that belief whatsoever. We still know that we have a good chances in him. When you look at our conference, the 6A West, they're 1 point separated first place and third place. So, Bentonville edged us by tiebreaker points. We had the exact same amount of points from wins and ties, et cetera. And Rogers had 1 more point than the both of us. So they both tied, and we tied with each of them. So we're right there. I love our chances. Yeah. And it's really
is it sometimes harder to get ready for that first one? Or is it just like, hey, we just got to prepare for what we can. And like you said, if we play our game, then I believe we have success.
Honestly, I like playing someone that we haven't played in the first round because they just don't know what we're going to do. The same could be said the other way around, but I'm going to ensure that I do my homework, and that I have my team ready to go. And I like to think that we've got a really potent offense, and a very stingy defense. And so I love playing somebody we haven't played because it adds an element to the game for our team where they have an edge, a competitive edge about them and focus. And so, let's say we go into this first game and get a win under us. Now we're going to play with more confidence going into the next round. And hey, we've been here. We've been to the quarters and semis every year. I've been at West, and so this is not this is not a new journey or a new stage for us, right?
Yeah.
This
It's an
game.
expectation at this
It
point.
is. That's right. That's exactly right. And this is what they've asked for. And that's
Mhm.
what I'll use to remind them, hey, you
Mhm.
asked for this moment. This is what you've been striving for. So let's just relish it.
Yeah, that's what you come to Bentonville West to play soccer for. You said you don't really know much, but when you do look at Jonesboro and you've got experience on that side of the state anyways, like what do you think that they're going to bring just to the table in general with the way that they play, knowing what you know or don't know about them?
Yeah. Always very physical.
Mhm.
Always have some pace. Always organized. Yeah. So I'm just even from the days of when there was just a 5A conference that all of the 5, 6, and 7A schools were lumped into. Jonesboro still had that identity then, organized and aggressive. And so nothing really has changed with them. So we know it's going to be a tough first round, but the kids are looking forward to it. They really are. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. How do you change? You look at the schedule. I mean, you play at 11 a.m., right? So you're going to travel down on Wednesday with a Thursday morning game. How does maybe anything change at all because you're playing, in the morning versus, after a school day, for example?
Yeah. There's not a whole lot you can do just because you have
Mhm.
school, right? That can get
Yeah.
them ready for that. Really, the most important things to take care of are the variables that are going to affect them mentally once the game starts. I mean, these kids have been playing soccer for years. And so, the biggies, right? Anxiety,
Mhm.
confidence, and managing just the different situations for the team and tactics that we know they'll see. And if we prepare them for those things, then when the ball
Mhm.
starts rolling, that's what they have to manage. And
Right.
when they're ready to manage those things, then they can better manage the game. Yeah.
Yeah. The game should be the easy part at that point.
That's right. The struggle, hey, let me tell you, the struggle is going to be getting them up at 7 o'clock for breakfast. That's
Right. Right. The game will be easy.
no piece of cake.
Right, right. You got to make sure they eat breakfast,
That's
or
right.
I don't know. High school kids drink coffee these days, which is crazy, I guess. But maybe get some coffee, coffee in them as well.
Yeah.
But these are kids too. You've got a lot of girls on your team who play travel soccer, so
Mhm.
they're used to the travel, getting up early, staying in hotels, all that kind of thing. So this
Yeah.
isn't a new atmosphere for them per se. So it's just what's next,
Mhm.
and you have to really rely on that. You talk about preparation, but just also maturity that they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Yeah, and we actually sent out today a detailed schedule for like nutrition schedule of when to
Mhm,
drink water and how much to drink and how many carbs to eat per
mhm,
these different times. And so what we try to give them is as much structure in this unknown,
mhm.
experience, I guess you could say, where the norm changes. They're not in school all day long and then come to the school and get on a bus and just go play a game. We're, somewhere totally different, et cetera. And you got all these variables that you can't control. And so we try and create as much structure
Yeah,
around that as possible. And then hold them to that and remind them of, okay, this is what we're doing at this time, and where there's no deviation and we're all on the same page and doing the same thing. And that way we can remind them of those other variables that they're going to see in the game, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Of course, drink water, don't eat McDonald's French fries, no Chick-fil-A, like all that stuff.
Pretty simple game.
No eating a big plate of Mexican food on Wednesday night. Can't nothing like that.
Right.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
like that. No, I'm excited. It has been really fun to watch you guys grow and go through the regular season. And I know we've really just built it up. And I don't want to build it up too much because the postseason is what it is, but it's an opportunity, right? And so it's really cool that we are finally in this moment because we've been talking about it for quite some time now, what this means and what it can mean for this program that you've been able to put together and the lineups you've been able to put together. So I'm excited to see what happens in Conway. I'll be following along as much as I can.
Good. We're excited. We know that Conway is going to have, if, let's say we see them let's get past the first round, but we'd see them in the second round, and we knocked them out last year. And so I
Mhm.
know I know full well that their kids and coaches are going to show up with a chip on their shoulder per se, and wanting to eliminate us. And so we'll be ready. We are going to be ready.
Well, in my short amount of time talking about 6A soccer, I just don't think there's any love lost for any program in any division. Really, when it comes to anything. So
it's funny you say that because when our kids are playing, it's some of the collisions you would think, wow, these people really don't like each other. But as soon as the game is over, there's so many of the club teammates that that know each other. They're hugging, and the coaches are hugging and laughing. And just a few seconds ago, we were yelling across the field.
Sure. No, I get it. Yeah, as someone, again, like when you play travel and you get to play with all of these girls, like I remember one of my best friends from high school played, and we played travel a little bit together, and we played rec together, but then she went to a different high school, and she was like one of the best pitchers in the state and in the region. And I would always get a hit off her, and they'd always be like, Casey, what are you doing? I was like, I know her tells. I know how to, you know what I mean? Like I know her too well.
Yeah.
How do you get a hit off of her? Well, I've been around her my whole life. So, so I can also see too that you play against teammates that you play with all the time. You're like, oh, hey coach, she's really bad when she favors her left or something like that,
Oh, yeah.
So I get it.
Every game. Yeah.
Well, it'll be really, really fun. And of course, as we've talked about, that first game against Jonesboro at 11 o'clock on Thursday. So I think we've reached that point in our episodes that we love so much. And that is our feel-good moment of the week. So from last week, what you got for me, Coach?
It's got to be senior night.
Yeah.
It's got to be senior night. Yeah, my daughter. It was she's a senior, and so I got to walk out with her, my wife, and her twin sister, and my little boy. We all got to walk out together, and I've never been on that side of it. I've always been on the other side, shaking hands, and so the finality of that really, really slammed me. And I told the seniors, hey, right before the game, right before kickoff, I told them, hey, usually I would take you guys into the den and the weight room and tell each of you individually how much you mean to me and how much we'll miss you and everything you did for the program. But tonight it's too hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll get to you, but tonight it's just too hard. I will find you in the next week and we'll have that conversation. But tonight, let's just enjoy each other, and let's just soak in the moment. That way it's not, I didn't want it to be about my emotions, right, around my own kid. I wanted it to be about all of them, all of the seniors. And so it was just so special because some of those kids I've been coaching since they were like 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And they're seniors, and my little girl, I've been coaching her since she was 4, and so seeing all of them, mm-hmm. her as well, but seeing all of those that I've been coaching so long, just they're about to go be adults, it's just special. Yeah. Yeah. And very special. We sent them out on a high note with a big win, and they all played great and just enjoyed each other. Just so much joy on the sideline and on the field. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you're also allowed to wear that dad hat every now and then.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like that was definitely a good time to put the dad hat on.
It was. It sure was. I loved it.
That's awesome. I love ending our episodes with these feel good moments. Like, I hope it makes everyone you're done listening. You're like, I feel good now. That was really cool. That was a fun story to share. So thank you. And I'm sure that was really, really special. And I'm sure those emotions are far from being anywhere close to being over, because I hope you guys, knock on wood around me, have a lot more soccer ahead of you these next few weeks. So again, postseason play, it's here, and it starts with you guys on Thursday. Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for listening and joining us. And remember, you can follow along if you can't go to Conway. I know these games are broadcast, right, Coach?
They are. They sure are. Yep. Yeah. AAA is broadcasting them, and they'll be on the radio.
That's right. So you'll be able to watch, even though if you can't be there in person. But for Coach Kerry Castillo, I am Alyssa Orange. Thank you so much for joining us right here with Kickin' It with the Wolverines.